Hello again, I'm Simon, and this week I thought I'd like to try and talk about contours. So I'm actually split into two videos. There's going to be a basic video, which is this one. There's going to be a bit more detail in the more advanced one, which I'll also try and put out, like now. So first of all, what do contours look like? Well, if you have a look here, legend, sort of a brown line that's either going to be sort of a wavy shape, or it'll be a circle like that. And then what those mean is that for a circle, it means you're looking at a hill or a depression. We'll get into the difference later. And for a wavy line like that, you're looking at the side of a hill. It's a bit bigger. So it means there's slope there. As to how big they are, it varies depending on the map. So if let's scroll up to the top, there's something called contour interval. So I'll make sure my face isn't covering it. So here, contour interval 2.5 meters. And so this 2.5 meters tells me how much distance there is between contours. So contours can be roughly 2.5 meters tall. That's what that means. And so so how do you read the contours? Well, the very basics are that if you see a circle with contours, it's a hill. So a nice example would be, and again, don't worry about the course, it's a complicated course. It's just the best I've had to illustrate this. So right next to number 2 here is a wibbly shape that looks like that. I know my art's great. There's a second wibbly shape up for that in between. So what that means is, because it's a circle, you've got a hill. And because there's two circles, it means you've got a bigger hill. In this case, the contour interval is 2.5 meters. That means your hill is twice that, so it's 5 meters tall. So that's the basics. How do we use, so looking at this, I can see, take away all the black lines, I can see these brown lines here, they form this circle, which means the hill, there's two of them, it makes a bigger hill. How do I use those? So for a white and yellow course, for a white course it's not going to be particularly helpful, because all you're running is along tracks. Right? You do that, you don't care about much else. For a yellow course, you're starting to leave tracks. By that I mean you're coming off the tracks and off other things. So if my control is on, say, a hilltop, it's nice to know what I'm looking out for. So in this case, if I have a control here, looking at and seeing the sort of brown circle there means that as I'm running along, I'm looking out for this hill, and I just come off and go up to there, like that. Reading contour is also, so it's useful in the yellow, because often you take the controls off the track and you need to know when to leave the track. And it's useful, much more useful, in fact, it's essential, basically, for oranges and reds, because they design the course not to follow tracks and fences. So the other question, as I mentioned, how do I know if they're going up or down? And so the basics are usually they go up, right? So on a map like this, so Scott's Ferry, because there's not that many brown lines all over the map, it's largely flat. And usually when you see a circle, it means a hill. The only thing to watch out for is if they have little dashed lines on it, which has to be a depression. So if you have a look here, for example, this one, again, my drawing is not perfect, has these two little brown lines pointing in. And those brown lines always point down. So in that case, that one means it's going to be a dip in the ground rather than a line. So look like that, rather than like that. The other trick is if you have a cliff, I'll draw it somewhere you can see it. So, a cliff like this. this is the top up here. So that black thick line across the top of the cliff or earth bank is the top, and the little tails are pointing down. So if you see that on the side of a hill, then you know that the top's up here and the bottom's down here. So what are the other sort of brown symbols we see? So there's these little brown dots here, and those are what we call knolls. So it's just a lump. And you can think of them, to start with, as basically a contour that you can't see inside. It's too small to see inside. It's just a lump. You know, you've got a flat line here. Look, it's like a tiny hill. That's what those mean. Likewise, if you see little U's on the map, there's one here, then that's a depression. A little cut like that, that's not big enough to deserve an entire contour, but might be big enough to control them. And so that's where those bits match. The other thing to watch out for is form lines. So if you have a look here, you'll see there's like a contour, but it's got bits missing. And so the technical description of that is a form line. So it's not something big enough to need a full contour, but it's obvious enough it wants to have something on the map. And so in this case, it gets form line, which I usually think of about half a contour. So looking at some examples on the map of sort of contour features to how you see them. If you'll see a lot of brown lines here, just below 9, that means it's a very big hill. And because the lines are close together, it means it's a steep hill as well. Whereas if we have a look over here, you got like one blob, two blobs, and then a third blob which has a second one here. So that tells me if I was running along these to get to that's number 10 there. If I was running along that way, I'd go past one circle, so one hill with about another half, so it's about 3-4 meters. Another circle here, it's another small hill, and there's a hill that's about twice as big as that last one. That's the very basics of contours. So if you want a white or yellow, this is the video for you, but you've already seen that. The other video will be a more advanced one. So if you think this is too basic, I urge you to watch the other video I'm putting out, which will be more about how to use contours, not just how to read them. So until next week, be orienteering, and see you then.